The smell of disinfectant followed him long after the handcuffs clicked shut. Michael Swango, once a promising physician, walked through the gates of ADX Florence in silence, his eyes scanning the sterile hallways like a man inspecting his own operating room. He wasn't afraid. He was curious. If stories like this fascinate you, hit subscribe, because this one only gets darker. In the Bureau of Prisons, ADX Florence is known as the Alcatraz of the Rockies. No laughter. No daylight. Just the hum of steel doors and the soft hiss of recycled air. It's where the system sends men who've stopped being human in the eyes of the law. Terrorists. Hitmen. Killers of killers. And now, a doctor who killed by healing. Swango had arrived with the same precision he used in hospitals years earlier. Records showed he'd worked in at least 5 medical centers across the US, Illinois, South Dakota, New York, and even overseas. Each job ended the same way: unexplained deaths, patients suddenly convulsing after injections, and colleagues who whispered but never acted. Inside the Supermax, his reputation traveled faster than his footsteps. Inmates called him Doc Poison. Even the guards didn't like handling his meal trays. Rumors spread that he could kill without ever touching you, that a drop, a powder, a breath was all it took. No one wanted to test that theory. But Swango wasn't like other killers. He didn't crave chaos. He craved order, perfect, clinical control. The prison doctors noticed how he kept his cell immaculate. Books stacked alphabetically. Bedding folded to surgical precision. He'd request medical journals during library rounds and underline passages about toxins, autopsies, and forensic failures. To him, the world was a laboratory. One guard, Officer Renner, remembered seeing Swango stare at his hands for minutes at a time, flexing each finger like they were instruments of God. He'd just smile, Renner said. Like he knew something the rest of us didn't. Inmates tried to get close, curiosity mixed with fear. One of them, a former mob hitman named DeSantis, told another prisoner he wanted to test the doctor's legend. 3 days later, DeSantis collapsed during recreation. Heart stopped. No sign of trauma. The autopsy came back clean. Officially, it was a medical event. Unofficially, everyone started locking eyes with their food trays before eating. Swango's file was sealed tighter than most. Even inside ADX, where inmates live in near-total isolation, his privileges were restricted. No direct contact, no access to medical equipment, and no assignment near other prisoners. Still, strange things began to happen. Guards complained of headaches. Cafeteria staff fainted. A visiting psychologist developed sudden nausea after an interview with Swango. Coincidence, they said. But coincidences had followed this man his entire life. Each night, under the cold flicker of his fluorescent light, Swango would write, pages filled with looping medical notations, fragments of Latin, and something that looked eerily like chemical formulas. When asked what he was working on, he only replied, a cure. But for what? No one knew. One winter evening, during routine cell checks, Officer Renner noticed something odd. Swango's light was off early, yet a faint blue glow pulsed from beneath his door. The guard hesitated, key trembling in his hand. He knocked. No response. He called backup. When they finally entered, the cell was spotless, except for one thing, a folded note resting on the desk. It contained a single line, written in perfect penmanship. Even medicine, in the wrong hands, becomes murder. The warden ordered a full lockdown that night. But Swango? He sat calmly in his cell, hands folded, eyes fixed on the small window slit. For the first time, he wasn't smiling. And the next morning, something inside ADX Florence would make national news. By dawn, rumors spread like smoke through concrete walls. A guard had collapsed in the control room, no struggle, no warning. Just a shudder, a gasp, and silence. The medical report said respiratory failure. But in ADX Florence, nothing is ever that simple. Within hours, investigators descended on the facility. They found nothing, no foreign substances, no tampering. Yet, the man who'd fallen ill was the same guard who'd checked Swango's cell the night before. The same one who had read the note. Swango was transferred to a stricter isolation wing, the range reserved for the most dangerous inmates. His cell was stripped bare, no pens, no papers, no books. Yet somehow, every day during inspection, officers found something new, a single symbol carved faintly into the paint, or a tiny mark etched near the vent. It was as if he were writing his story on the prison itself. If you haven't already, subscribe, because what happened next turned the entire prison upside down. ADX Florence was built to erase identity. But Swango was rebuilding his. Word spread through staff and inmates alike that the doctor was working again. Not with medicine, but with people. He studied their habits through observation slots. Knew which guards smoked. Which inmate refused meals. Which psychologist was pregnant. He could recall every cough, every hesitation in a voice. To him, the prison was a patient, and he was diagnosing it. The psychiatrist assigned to him, Dr. Elaine Morris, was one of the few who believed she could get through. Her notes described him as intelligent, cooperative, and eerily polite. He asked questions about ethics, morality, and the definition of harm. One session, he leaned forward and said quietly, "Do you ever think about how thin the line is between helping someone live and letting them die?" Morris admitted later that she felt a chill run through her spine. Swango had no visitors. No letters. No personal items. Yet one morning, the mailroom intercepted an unmarked envelope addressed to Dr. M. Swango. Inside was a single photograph, an old hospital corridor, lights flickering, an empty gurney in the distance. On the back, 2 words, "Still healing." The security team traced it, but the source was untraceable. No fingerprints. No postal record. And then came the second incident. An inmate in the tier below Swango collapsed in his cell, foaming at the mouth. Tests showed traces of cyanide-like compounds, but no source was ever found. The warden demanded answers. How can a man with no tools, no contact, and no movement poison someone in a sealed facility? No one could answer. For weeks, staff lived on edge. Lunches went untouched. Coffee sat cold on desks. The air itself felt contaminated. The psychologist began seeing fear in every corridor. Swango, meanwhile, began humming in his cell. A soft, tuneless melody that echoed down the block. Some guards said it was Morse code. Others said it was just the sound of a man too calm for where he was. Dr. Morris pushed for one last session. She wanted to confront him about the deaths. When she entered, Swango was already seated, hands folded neatly. "I know you think I'm still practicing," he said before she could speak. "But you're wrong." "Then what are you doing?" "Research," he whispered. "Purely observational. I just watch what happens when people believe they're dying." That was the last session she ever conducted with him. 2 days later, Morris resigned without explanation. By now, ADX had become divided, between those who believed Swango had found a way to kill from inside, and those who thought the legend itself was the weapon. Fear spread faster than any toxin. And then, in late October, the warden received another anonymous letter. This one contained a list of names, staff, inmates, even medical personnel, each with a number beside it. Next to the first name was a date, October 31st. That date was tomorrow. October 31st began like any other day inside ADX Florence, quiet, cold, and heavy with routine. But everyone felt it. The tension. The ticking clock. Every guard knew the date written on that letter. Every eye found its way, at least once, to Swango's door. At exactly 7:42 a.m., the alarm sounded. A guard on Tier 2 collapsed during morning rounds. His partner froze, calling for help, voice shaking. Medical rushed in. No visible wounds. No sign of poison. The same blank stare, the same limp fall. The warden ordered a full lockdown. Swango's unit was sealed off, his movements monitored by 3 separate cameras. He sat cross-legged on the floor, motionless, eyes half closed, as if meditating through the chaos. When a response team entered to cuff him, he simply raised his hands and smiled. If you're watching and haven't subscribed yet, this is where the story takes its final, haunting turn. The autopsy on the fallen guard revealed something unexpected: nothing. Every test came back clean. No toxins, no organ damage. The body looked healthy. The medical examiner could only call it sudden cardiac arrest. Yet the pattern was too perfect to ignore. Investigators tore through Swango's cell. They found no contraband, no notes, no chemicals. But behind the stainless steel mirror, etched into the concrete, was a sentence, barely visible under the scratches. Medicine is faith. Remove belief, and the body follows. The Bureau of Prisons brought in federal psychologists, chemical analysts, even FBI profilers. The conclusion stunned them: whatever was happening wasn't physical. It was psychological, a chain reaction of fear, suggestion, and paranoia that had spread through the facility like infection. Swango had weaponized belief itself. In interviews, guards admitted they'd stopped eating, sleeping, trusting their own senses. Inmates whispered that the doctor can kill you with a thought. Each new rumor fed the myth until the myth became the poison. The warden had no choice. Swango was moved into an observation pod, glass walls, constant surveillance, no physical contact. Even so, reports claimed his calm never broke. He ate neatly, slept exactly 6 hours, never asked for anything but silence. One night, a rookie officer watching the cameras saw Swango lift his gaze toward the lens and mouth something. The feed's audio didn't pick it up, but when the footage was later reviewed, analysts slowed the frames. 2 words were clear: check again. They did. Inside the evidence locker, where Swango's old papers and confiscated notebooks were stored, agents found a folded scrap of paper they had missed before. On it, the chemical formula for atropine, a compound known to mimic heart attack symptoms in high doses. No one could explain how the note appeared, or how it was written in Dr. Morris's handwriting. She was found days later in her home in Illinois, unconscious but alive. Empty pill bottle beside her. No signs of struggle. No explanation. After that, the Bureau sealed Swango's records for good. His name became classified under medical containment. To this day, his case remains the only one in ADX history where an inmate was accused of killing without physical evidence. In his final recorded statement to a prison chaplain, Swango said quietly, "Fear is the purest medicine. It kills what shouldn't live." The chaplain asked what he meant. Swango smiled faintly. "You'll see." 2 days later, the chaplain resigned. And so the Doctor of Death remains entombed in silence, his cell now permanently unoccupied, just the hum of the ventilation and the faint outline of his name carved beneath the light switch. No one walks that corridor alone anymore. Not even the guards. Because inside ADX Florence, they say the doctor still studies his patients, one heartbeat at a time. If you think the story was intense, the next one will leave you speechless. Subscribe for more true crime stories that'll keep you on the edge of your seat.